Hey everybody, it's me, Angela Walters. Welcome to this week's live chat. If you were looking for me last week, I'm so sorry. I had to bump it to this week. Wasn't feeling the best, but I'm glad to be here today. And I'm going to talk a little bit about the upcoming Free Motion Challenge because there have been a lot of questions come through the email, a lot of questions online. So just going to kind of address those. And then if you are watching live, be sure to leave me a comment. Jessica is here monitoring the chat as always because one lucky commenter is going to win a pillow panel from the upcoming challenge. So look at that beautifulness there. So leave a comment and I'll announce the winner at the end. Plus, if you have any questions, be sure to put them in the live chat and then Jessica will pass on the ones that I can answer. And then we'll address those. So super excited about the upcoming video series. So for those of you that might have just stumbled along here, like what's going on, about twice a year, I put on a free video series class on machine quilting. And next one will be starting January 2nd. So we kind of launched all that, the dot to dot free motion challenge quilting along. One thing I've been doing to prepare for the filming and, getting all that class material ready. Once I get the panel designed and get that figured out, then the next is, all the content. I started digging through my stash and finding just old UFO blocks I had laying around. And I know if you've been quilting for any amount of time, you probably have one or two. And so it's a great way to practice different designs. It forces you within a boundary to kind of create different shapes. And so it was a lot of fun. I was kind of digging those out. So these are all going to be part of the dot to dot class. So just to show pictures of the designs in actual blocks. So one thing that I'm really kind of, I'll say passionate about is not just showing you how to make a swirl or how to quilt a design, but how do you actually put that on the quilt? And so even here I had this one little strip of 3 blocks. Don't know why, but then I just quilted them up. So, and you can tell my now patented binding method, right? The raw edge quilt. Oh. So for those of you that are super excited about the upcoming video series and are like, oh, I want to get started. Again, it doesn't start till January 2nd, but start digging out those UFOs and play around with different designs. I find that having limitations really sparks the creativity, right? Like, how do I quilt a pinwheel with 4 other little triangles? So it's just kind of a fun option. So in between that and actually filming and working on all the content for the video series, the free quilting diagrams and all that stuff, it's been kind of crazy. So it's one of those times of the year that I'm working so hard to get stuff ready that I didn't really have time to put together much of anything else today. But we are going to hit some challenge FAQs, hit the questions that have been coming, and then of course, if you have questions, leave them and I'll answer those as well. So the dot to dot free motion challenge quilting along, that free video series is starting January 2nd. For the first time this year, I announced it a lot earlier than I normally do so that with Christmas coming up, people could have time to prepare for it. We have everything up, all the products that are not required to participate but are optional. Those are available for pre-order. And so the question is, hey, I ordered my panel, I ordered my thread, when is it going to come? It hasn't shipped yet. We are waiting for one more piece of the puzzle, and when it comes, my little elves will start shipping like crazy and cutting. So it's coming very, very soon, any day now. But the good news is the actual video doesn't start till the first challenge video doesn't come out till January 2nd. So we have time. If you have a question about your order, a particular question, you can always reach out to us. But again, these are pre-orders, so nothing has shipped out yet. And once they start shipping, the email confirmations will go out and then everybody will be happy and it'll be great. So just bear with us and kind of, we'll get that shipped out as soon as we can. Now, I did say in the listing it would ship in December. I didn't say when. Now, it is technically December, but any minute now. So the optional products, again, if you wanted to get those, you still have time. You can still order it and get them in time before the video starts. And you can kind of see the pillow panel behind me or some of the coordinating yardage. It's just a fun way to quilt along with me on that same project. I'm so excited that everybody is so excited about the Free Motion Challenge. It's a little humbling or just really kind of reassuring that you guys like to listen to me talk about quilting. And so it's so fun to get the emails and everybody's really ready for it to start, but it's not going to start till January 2nd. Last year we did a challenge over Christmas and it was miserable Christmas for me. So I said, we'll start this January. It'll be our New Year's resolution. We're going to get better at machine quilting. It's going to be a lot of fun. So how does it work? If you have not participated in a free motion challenge, I get that it could be a little like, all right, so what do I do now? So what happens is on January 2nd, the first video will go live on my YouTube channel. You can find it there. You can find it on the website. Or if you register for the class with your email, I will send out an email once the challenge starts with the video link and the quilting diagrams and all that. So that's another question that's been come up. I've signed up for the challenge. I've registered my email. I haven't got anything. You should have received with it, like the first email, like, hey, here's the suggested supplies, but nothing else has gone out yet because the challenge hasn't started. First emails will go out closer to January 2nd. So if you do go to the website and you click the link in the description box below, or you go to FMQ Challenge and you enter your email in, it'll pop up a little thing and it will say, thanks for joining. We'll send you an email within 24 hours. And so I have it automatically populating. If you haven't received it, let us know. We can resend it. Some people are having trouble getting it. I'm not sure why. Close enough is good enough does not work in computer web design, right? So I don't know. I'll try to figure it out. I'll start poking buttons and break everything or fix it. It could go either way. So again, the videos challenge does not actually start till January 2nd. And again, I know everybody's excited to get their stuff, to get ready, but we can't do anything with it until January 2nd anyway. When the video comes out, it will be out every week. A video will come out on the YouTube channel or the website, and we'll be talking about a different facet of the challenge. So for instance, the first video is going to be the basic dot-to-dot shapes. Second video, we're going to build off of that. So it's kind of in order. But one of the questions that comes up from there is, well, how do I participate if I'm on a long arm? If I'm getting the videos every week, what do I do for the 6 weeks that I'm waiting for the start to the end? And the answer is there's not a good answer. So working on a long arm, one of the downsides is you have to load it and unload it and load it and unload it. If I were quilting along, I weren't in charge of it, if I were quilting along, I would wait till the end and do it all at once because I wouldn't want to keep my long arm full of a quilt for 6 weeks. Doesn't mean that's how you have to do it, but that's just one of the options. Another option you have is you can go through your quilt once you get it and stitch in all the seams, stabilize it so that you can quickly put it on and off each week if you want. It just depends on where your life is going and how busy you are. So again, I know it's not ideal coming out weekly, but it's ideal for me because that's the only way I can get all this stuff out at the same time. Once the video comes out, there will be a link to the free quilting diagrams within the video. It'll be on the website. It will go out in the email. And those free quilting diagrams are just my love letter to you to make you love the designs as much as I do. I totally get watching a video, it makes perfect sense, and then you go to your machine and you're like, what did she just do? So please take advantage of those, and those will be coming out with the videos. Then every Thursday, I'll go live, and that's a perfect opportunity to join me on the live chat and ask any questions that you have. You can always go to our Free Motion Challenge Quilting Along Facebook group and post your questions there. It's just a great way to make it feel more like a class. And I tell you, I do love getting onto the live chat about 30 minutes before and type chatting with everybody. We got a little crew, all the people are like, hey, how's it going? So you can always pop in there as well. If there's a question that maybe I can answer real quickly, I'll do it then. Or if there's a really good question, I think, oh, I should probably discuss this in the chat, then we could do that too. So it's another way to get your questions answered if you have them. So anyway, the video series is going to start January 2nd. It's going to run every week. We're going to talk through quilting the panel, and then I'll have an optional video for the optional borders. So there will be a video for that as well. And so by the time you're done, you can either quilt through on the panel with me or on some fabric you have laying around. And by the time you're done, you will be a dot-to-dot quilting wizard, or at least better than you were when you started. It's going to be a really good time. I'm always looking forward to it. I also love it because then my live chat topics are scheduled because I basically just kind of reiterate what the video was about, show some more examples, and just kind of answer your questions. So really fun time, looking forward to it. And so I'm super excited. Everybody's excited to try it. If you are interested, you're like, I don't even know what you're talking about, Walters, just click the link in the description box and go to the website. When you go to my website, there's a Free Motion Challenge button, and that will tell you everything I just told you as well, how to participate. I know that sometimes we feel like, ooh, I signed up, I should get the whole class right now. That's not how this is working. So it's more like, we trickle it out and have a good time with it. So again, when we're talking about dot-to-dot quilting, really we're focusing on block-based designs or designs that can fit areas around your blocks. I love picking different topics for the Free Motion Challenge. Like we'll do feathers one time or swirls. This one's a little different because we're kind of focusing on block designs. So all of you out there that struggle with picking out your quilting designs, first of all, congratulations, you're completely normal. We all have trouble picking designs or what to quilt. But this is going to give you lots of options and lots of hopefully inspiration to quilt those quilts that you may or may not have laying around. Now in a video, what's kind of fun is I try to edit it down so that it's pretty quick and punchy and we kind of cover a lot of stuff pretty quickly. But in the live chats, I talk a lot more. So depending on how you like to learn, you might find the live chats are more beneficial than the video. Either way, it's just here for everybody. Again, so I know there's been a lot of questions about the Free Motion Challenge. I can't thank you enough. Everybody that watches the videos, that tells other people about it, that buy the product and support it. It's very amazing. And so thank you so much for all of that. So beyond the Free Motion Challenge, we're coming into Christmas, a lot of stuff going on. So I'm just going to kind of keep the live chats pretty chill. We're not going to hit anything too crazy right now. But there were a couple questions that came up in the type chat before we started. So I'm kind of veering away from the Free Motion Challenge and now just answering your free motion quilting questions, which I love because I'm the expert of my opinion, right? And so I can always just share with you what I think. So Connie asked on the type chat before we started, she's getting ready to quilt a quilt that's English paper pieced. Would I approach that any different than a traditional quilt or a regular quilt? The short answer is no. So an English paper piece quilt is just a different way of piecing your blocks by hand, and you have your beautiful intricate thing. The one thing that I think might be a little different is sometimes EPP, English paper pieced quilts, are fussy cut. And if somebody has taken the time to cut out the little detail out of the fabric, I'm going to make sure that I show that off with the quilting. But other than that, I just treat them like little blocks. I'm a little bit more nervous when I'm quilting them, right? Because I don't want to mess it up and have to remake it. But no, the way you approach those quilts will be pretty much the same. So hopefully that helps you out. Somebody else mentioned, a couple people talking about new long armers or new machine quilters and the amount of information that's on the web and knowing where to start. And for those of you that have been quilting a while, surely you can remember back to what that felt like, right? When you're like, I don't even know what's a feed dog or how does this work? Instead of being intimidated or overwhelmed, I can't encourage you enough to enjoy the process, which is easy for me to say because I'm on the other side. But it's so fun to learn new things and to kind of fall down that rabbit hole. But down the rabbit hole of learning something new is you're going to be presented with conflicting information, even from me to somebody else, because it's such a personal thing. What designs you pick, what threads you use, how you move the machine, it's all up to you. So the best advice I can give to anybody out there that's learning is if it works, it works. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. Seems pretty obvious, right? No, the reason I say that is if you're doing something and it's working, don't change it. I know it can be tempting to go online and see, well, Angela uses this and this is how she does it. And that might not be a good fit for you. So don't be afraid to gather in all that information, but you're going to have to say, oh, this works for me, that doesn't work for me, and that's fine. And that's what's really great about quilting. Even within machine quilting, you look at that subset of the genre, there's show machine quilting, there's utility machine quilting, there's art machine quilting. So even within there, you can find your own style. So try not to be overwhelmed. I do get it. There is a lot of information out there, and I'm not really helping by putting more out there. I know. So anytime you're new to it, just practicing is so important. And somebody else commented, it was great. They said, turns out I can't just watch videos. I have to load my quilt and start actually quilting. Unfortunately, that is the truth. So I love it when I teach classes and I tell people, I'm sorry you paid money to hear me say you need to practice. But that is the truth of the matter. I like to use the analogy of diet books. I could read all the diet books, but it's not going to actually help me unless I do it. So I know it can be scary with machine quilting to look at that quilt and be afraid you're going to mess it up or, be afraid to get started. But truly, that's really where your skills are going to come in. And every time you get done, you learn what works and what doesn't work. And sometimes knowing what not to do is just as important as knowing what to do. Now, you would think I have been long arming, machine quilting 21 years, so piecing 23 years. You'd think I would have this down. But I got to show you, not that I ever want you to show up your mistakes, but I was quilting these samples, right? Did anybody notice that it's not done on that side? Because the backing was too small. I didn't put enough backing on my long arm. So even those silly mistakes, they can happen to us professionals too. So it's just fun to laugh at yourself and move on with it. So those were the questions that came through. Do we have any other challenge questions? And hopefully you're commenting if you want to win the pillow panel. Pretty, pretty. Thank you, ma'am. What rulers do I use on the new Dot to Dot Free Motion Challenge? So I try really hard not to have required products. I know that learning machine quilting is scary, and so I want to keep the entry very easy. There's no excuse. But if you do have a straight edge ruler, that will really help you with the Dot to Dot. Throughout the video series, I'll be demonstrating the designs on a sewing machine and a long arm. And on the sewing machine, I'll demonstrate it without the ruler so you can see what that looks like, and with the ruler. And on a long arm, I'm always going to use a ruler. I was going to see if I had, this is what, I was just using this for filming. So this is slim. It's my go-to straight edge ruler. I'm biased, but I do love you slim. So that's the ruler. That's pretty much the only ruler we'll be working with in there. There's a couple other things, marking tools would be nice to have if you need it, but there's nothing that you have to have that you can't get started once the video comes out. Will the panel come put together, or do we need to sew them together? So when you order the panel, and one of my favorite things, I love it because it's like you get this thing that you can quilt like a quilt, but you didn't have to piece. So I try to make it look kind of like a quilt. The panel is already ready to go. The only piecing that you might want to do is if you want to get the optional border panel. So some people love borders on their quilts. I'm not one of those because I don't like to sew borders, but I had a lot of requests, so we put together border strips that you can add. So you would have to sew that on if you purchase that. If not, then you just get ready to layer it together and move on. So very fun. Can you register for the class and use your own fabric? Absolutely. Yeah, so the videos, like I said, are free. Selling the product just allows me to keep them free. And so, yeah, you definitely don't have to, you can use your own fabric. And really what we're working with is a lot of squares and rectangles or triangle shapes. So very basic shapes that would be easy to mark out on your fabric. If you want to get a piece of like a yard of fabric, make your quilt sandwich and try a bunch of different dot-to-dot designs throughout the video series, and then you can cut out the good ones and throw away the rest. So how do I register for the new FMQ challenge? So I don't want to make this more difficult than it needs to be. In the past, there's been no registering. It's like the video will come out, watch it when you want to watch it. But this time I wanted to try having emails for the people that are like, hey, I'm in this. I'm in it to win it. I'm in it to connect the dots. And so registering just gives me your email so I can say, hey, here to you directly, here's the first video of the challenge, as opposed to sending it to everybody on my list, because not everybody wants to learn how to machine quilt, and that's fine. So if you want to get the email, you're going to click on the link in the description box below or go to fmqchallenge.com, and that's going to take you to the dot to dot challenge. Within that, you'll scroll down and you'll see the register your email. If you have any trouble, contact us and we can add it to there for you. Is this challenge best done on a long arm or a domestic machine? Well, if you have both, do both. No, I'm just kidding. It's best used on the machine that you primarily use for machine quilting. Whether it's a long arm or a sewing machine, it's like a car, right? Every car gets the same job done. Every car takes us from point A to point B. Different cars just have different features along the way. So whatever it is that you plan on quilting. I know that I have talked to people that said, oh, I got a long arm, but I feel more comfortable on my sewing machine, so I'm gonna do it on my sewing machine, and that's fine. But if you're planning on quilting on your long arm, go ahead and try there. Or if you want to make it super confusing, you can do like I do and bounce back and forth between the two. No, but really it's whatever you use. But if you're like, hey, I need a long arm, I can't do it without a long arm, then we can sell you a long arm too, because we're handy quilter dealers. So there is that. But really, whatever machine you have will be fine. And I'll be showing the designs on both. So you'll see, oh, this is what this looks like. That's what that looks like. Kind of helps. Would it be okay to use variegated thread for this challenge? Absolutely. Yes. Use your favorite color thread. Use the thread that's closest to your machine. Use whatever you've got. Variegated thread's going to be nice because it's really going to pop out and you can see what you're doing. So absolutely. Yep. Whatever you like. Will the challenge fabric be available in the shop? Eventually. Yes. So since it's in a pre-order status, so let me back up. For those of you that might not know, we own a brick and mortar quilt shop here in Liberty, Missouri, just outside of Kansas City, Missouri, only 45 minutes from Missouri Star. I almost put that on the awning, but at the last minute I backed out of that. So anyway, so we do have a brick and mortar store. So if you're ever in the area, you'll have to come by and see it. It's so fun. Everybody is so great there. Anyway, once it is in stock, it's in-house, we will have it at the shop. If you want to make sure that it's there, you can always order online and pick up in store. So that is an option on our online store. Now, if you don't live close, but you're up for a road trip, you can do the same thing. But if you choose the pick up in store option, then you're going to come pick it up in store. So that would be the best way to know when it's ready. And then you don't have to pay shipping. All right. So I know that was kind of a quick chat to hit all those things about the Free Motion Challenge. I'm so excited that you're excited to participate. I love teaching, and getting to do these videos is just a great way to share my passion and have fun with it. One question that was not asked is, what skill level is this challenge for? And all of my videos assume you know the basics of machine quilting, like push the pedal, move the fabric. But beyond that, it's beginner. This is perfect if you don't know what you're doing. This is perfect if you know what you're doing and just want design inspiration. So throughout the designs it will show, you'll see a range. This is a little bit more basic. This one takes a couple more steps. This one is for the brother-in-law that you don't really like, whatever. It's kind of how that works. So gonna be lots of fun. All right, I'll be back next week with another live chat on Thursday at 3 p.m. Central. Topic to be determined. We'll come up with something, I'm sure. And I hope everybody has a great week, but one lucky person won the panel. Again, if you want to check out the exclusive products, you can go to our website and check that out. But Tracy Walton will not have to, because Tracy gets the pillow panel. So Tracy, what you're going to need to do is email us at customerservice@quiltingismytherapy.com and give us your address, and I'll bring it to you personally. No, I wish. If you live somewhere cool, maybe, but anyway, I hope you all have a great rest of your week. I'm going to wrap this up and continue filming. Jessica's going to go back to cutting all those panels, and we'll see you next week for the live chat. Until then, everybody, happy quilting.